I'm moving with my family to San Antonio, Texas. What are the best suburbs in San Antonio for families? By far, the number one question that I get asked. I haven't done a suburb video in a really long time, so I thought today would be the perfect time to update you guys on the most popular areas near San Antonio for families to move. So we're going to do a little bit of a virtual driving tour of the suburbs of San Antonio today. Plus, I have a super important tip for you. The number one thing that you need to know when searching where to live when moving to San Antonio. We're traveling all over the city for this tour of San Antonio suburbs. And they're not in any certain order, just kind of how it made sense for me to plan the driving route. I'm going to show y'all the areas, some of what is appealing about each one, and break down some pros and cons of living in each suburb as well. We're going to explore a little something for everyone in this video. So whether you're looking for a Texas hill country suburb that's private and secluded, a highly developed suburban area that's loaded with neighborhood amenities, I've got you covered. I'll show you some of the most luxurious and also some of the most affordable options that are popular for families that are moving to San Antonio. The first place that we're going to check out is north of downtown. Luckily, we're not driving during peak traffic times, so we can make it through downtown pretty quickly. If you're not familiar with San Antonio, this is of course where you'll find all of the major tourist attractions like the Riverwalk, the Alamo, Market Square, Fiesta events, and tons more that you'll probably want to experience at least once while you're here. Once we're out of downtown, we'll drive down Broadway, which runs straight through the San Antonio suburb of Alamo Heights. Some highlights of what Alamo Heights has to offer. It's one of San Antonio's most established, iconic, and exclusive neighborhoods. This area could be perfect if you want to feel like you're part of the city and have quick access to all of the city's most well-known attractions, really in the heart of San Antonio. Alamo Heights is home to the highly rated Alamo Heights ISD, which is very well loved by families in this area. This district is known for consistently exceeding academic expectations and also for having a wide variety of extracurriculars. As for homes, you're going to find a mix of all different kinds of architectural styles. So from cottages built in the 1920s to massive luxurious estates that have been completely remodeled with modern and luxurious finish outs. Price ranges are going to vary, but they're definitely much higher than the median or average prices for San Antonio. Starting around $500,000 for smaller homes that probably are in need of renovations, and going well over the multi-million-dollar range for larger, more updated homes. The appeal to families in the Alamo Heights area is of course the school system that I mentioned before, but also just the overall atmosphere and vibe of the area. It's the very classic wholesome vibe and the feel that you get here, the picture perfect tree-lined streets, the walkability, the tight-knit feel of the community. There are tons of family-friendly social events throughout the year, and there is definitely just an overall sense of pride and respect for living in the Alamo Heights community. There are also plenty of parks and green spaces that are close to this area, like there's Brackenridge Park, the Japanese Tea Gardens, the San Antonio Zoo, Botanical Gardens, just tons to explore and great for those families looking for walkability. And for entertainment, you'll find plenty of commercial chain type places, but the really unique spots are all of the boutiques, the quirky coffee shops, the bakeries and restaurants that you'll find in and around Alamo Heights. Plus, you have the San Antonio Country Club if you're into golf, tennis, social events, and Alamo Quarry Market that has literally any retail shop that you could possibly need. The residential areas of Alamo Heights are completely unique to this area. You can see that it's really a mix of historical feel with the mid-century designs, but also very modern in the areas that have been renovated and gentrified. You have a beautiful backdrop of green, mature trees and very well manicured lawns. Let's talk pros and cons of living in the Alamo Heights area. Some of the pros are, number one, obviously it's in a fantastic school district, making it a top pick for families with kids. It's also a very central location with easy access to downtown San Antonio and the airport. It's charming, established neighborhoods with plenty of character, no cookie cutters here. And there's plenty of parks, green spaces, and family-friendly activities. As for the cons, because there are of course cons, because Alamo Heights is famous for its historic charm and is so well established as an anchor suburb of San Antonio, the homes here are definitely more expensive compared to other areas of San Antonio. There's also limited new construction due to the historic nature of this area, and this may be a downside for you if you're a buyer looking for more modern conveniences in your home and amenities. So my final thoughts on Alamo Heights: it could be a great option for you if you're a family looking for excellent schools, a strong sense of community, and quick access to some of the best attractions of San Antonio. It's also a fantastic option for those that appreciate history and charm and don't mind paying a little extra for the perks of living in one of San Antonio's most established and iconic suburbs. We're going to continue our tour of San Antonio suburbs over on the northeast side of the city, just outside of San Antonio. So let's take I-35 north out of Alamo Heights area. Look at all this construction going on. It seems like it's never ending, and it's all over the city, which you'll see as we continue driving all over San Antonio. From I-35, we're exiting to Loop 1604 and heading towards Randolph Air Force Base. Then FM 78 gets us past Randolph and to our next suburb that I want to show y'all. Cibolo, Texas is the next spot and is really kind of a hidden gem of the area. Or at least it used to be. It's not so hidden anymore and has experienced lots of growth over the last few years. Cibolo has been one of the fastest growing towns in the San Antonio metro area because of its mix between rural charm and suburban convenience. It's perfect for those families that want to get out of the big city but not be too far away. Let's talk about the highlights of living in Cibolo. Location-wise, Cibolo is super close to San Antonio, but also a quick drive to New Braunfels and even Austin. I should say it's quick access to I-35 to get to Austin. I don't want to mislead you because there's no such thing as a quick drive to Austin anymore. But whether you're commuting for work or planning a day trip of tubing on the river, the location really can't be beat. It's also been a popular destination for military families because of how convenient it is for those that are PCSing to Randolph Air Force Base, which is literally just minutes away. The schools are part of SCHURT Cibolo Universal City ISD, which is highly rated by niche.com and greatschools.org. It has strong academic performance as well as extracurricular activities. And if you're looking for home affordability and getting more home for your money, Cibolo has a really great range of options. You can still find some options here that are under or around $300,000 and even more custom type homes on acreage for over $500,000. There's also a good mix between older homes with more character and also several new construction neighborhoods in Cibolo. So whether you're looking for a spacious starter home or just wanting to upgrade to a bigger home, you'll find plenty of options here that definitely get you more home for your money. Now, Cibolo offers plenty of green spaces. There's a sports complex and tons of family events that create a really tight-knit community. It's perfect for families seeking affordability and a quieter pace just outside of the San Antonio metro area. Now, the pros and cons of living in Cibolo, here are a few of the pros. The cost of living is a bit lower here than it is in San Antonio, as well as a slightly lower property tax rate. It's ideal for families with a strong sense of community and highly rated schools. The convenient location to highway access makes it great if you plan to travel north into Austin or south into San Antonio, and it's the perfect commute for Randolph Air Force Base. When it comes to cons, there aren't really too many cons to living in Cibolo, but if you ask a local that's lived here for their whole life, the main thing is that there is new development happening everywhere. So from new neighborhoods to commercial developments, the increase in population can take away from that small town appeal that it used to have. But this is what happens as so many people move to the great state of Texas and the population is really expanding outside of the San Antonio area. Now, we aren't going to hit all of the suburbs here in this northeast area of San Antonio today, but just know that there are some other really great options here in this northeast pocket just outside of San Antonio. As I was editing this video, I realized that I talk a lot about small town living and all the benefits of living outside of San Antonio, but still close enough for it to be convenient. I try to think about it from the perspective of you guys that are moving to San Antonio and in many cases have never even been to the area. So it made me think that it might seem contradictory, and I really want to clarify my points by saying this. Many of these suburbs of San Antonio that are outliers may not be ideal if you need to commute daily for work. Some of them are very remote. What I mean when I say that they're close enough to be convenient is that for major shopping trips to Sam's or Costco, retail shopping or major purchases, or even just a larger variety for restaurants or entertainment, it's ideal. And rural small town living is definitely not for everyone. So if that's you and you feel better about being in San Antonio but not in the middle of the city, there's still so much for you to see here. For the next option of San Antonio suburbs for families, we're braving that traffic on I-35 North out of San Antonio. And actually, the traffic wasn't so bad today. Do keep in mind that it's the middle of the day, not peak traffic times. Everything is moving pretty smoothly as we're heading into New Braunfels, Texas. This well-loved suburb has become so very popular among families that are moving to the San Antonio area. It's one that you'll see tons of videos about and have likely already put on your list of possibilities of where to live. Let's talk about some of the highlights of New Braunfels and why it's so well-loved by lifelong residents and newcomers. The best way to describe the appeal of New Braunfels, it's just a mixture of everything. It's a small town, even though it is growing like crazy. There's tons of stuff to do, lots of culture and history, and of course, very family friendly. It's a balance between a small hill country town and a growing, thriving city. You'll never run out of things to do with the local festivals, historical landmarks, parks, water activities, and so much more. And if you do get bored here, you're right between San Antonio and Austin, so you can get more options from either of those. What really draws families to the New Braunfels area, at least one of the things, is definitely the school system. It's zoned for either Comal or New Braunfels ISD, and you can definitely research those to compare and contrast which one you think is the better fit for your family. But both do have highly rated schools in the districts and are known for their strong academic programs, extracurriculars, and community involvement. New Braunfels is all about the outdoors, whether you want to float the rivers or visit the famous Schlitterbahn Water Park or even head out to Canyon Lake, which isn't too far. There's no shortage of things to do. The town is known for its strong German heritage, so there's a huge festival called Wurstfest every year, which is their salute to sausage and a celebration of the German culture. People come from all over to be involved in this, so you'll find tons of local food, music, and really be able to get involved in the local community spirit. The Green Historic District is a must-see and a really fun way to spend the weekend. There are some amazing restaurants, antique shops and boutiques, and of course live music at Green Hall. There's also the famous Gristmill restaurant and several other spots to explore in this area. It makes for just a really fun and just overall Texas experience. A bonus about this area of Texas is because of its unique geography, New Braunfels has a bit cooler temps than the San Antonio area. It doesn't count for much during the summer. It's still crazy hot. But in the fall and winter, it does cool off a few degrees more here. Another huge thing about the New Braunfels area is that the housing options are outstanding. You'll find everything from affordable family homes in master plan communities to massive custom homes on acreage with amazing views. The price ranges vary from the 300,000s to the multi-million dollars. So there's truly something for everyone. Newer neighborhoods with larger homes are popping up everywhere, offering families great value, lots of space, and fantastic community amenities like parks for the kids, resort style pools, and splash pads. Now let's talk about some of the good and the bad about New Braunfels. Some of the pros of living in the New Braunfels area: there are tons of outdoor activities year-round, from tubing to hiking to Wurstfest, or even just walking around the shops downtown. Most of the entertainment options that you find are family-friendly atmospheres. There are highly rated schools. Close proximity to both San Antonio and Austin means you're never far from the big city when you need or want to visit, but you get to come home to a quieter, more relaxed town. For the cons of living in New Braunfels, just like any growing town, traffic can be a challenge, especially during peak times and especially during tourist season or major events. A lot of the events and attractions here bring families from all all over South Texas, so everything can get congested, especially during these major events. The traffic on I-35 getting to San Antonio or Austin, especially when you're headed north to Austin, can be annoying and add lots of time to your drive or commute. If you ask someone who has lived in New Braunfels for any period of time, especially someone who's lived here all of their lives, they'll tell you that the biggest con is that their small town has kind of disappeared and has just grown way too much, way too fast. My final thoughts on New Braunfels, I could probably talk about it for hours because I grew up really close to this area, so I am very familiar with it. But I'll just summarize a few things to keep it short. It's a great option for families, people that love outdoor activities, or anyone who's looking for an overall slower paced lifestyle with easy access to San Antonio or Austin. It's perfect for those who want the best of both worlds. Modern living and amenities in a town that still feels more like a community. New Braunfels is definitely considered one of the best places to live in all of the San Antonio metro area and even within all of Texas. With the affordable housing, beautiful landscape, family-friendly vibes, and tons of activities, it can check a lot of boxes for your family if you're looking for all of these things. Speaking of the Texas Hill Country charm, let's take the scenic route to our next San Antonio suburb. We're going to take some back roads through the Texas Hill Country, and this is really one of my favorite drives. It's so soothing for your soul, just rolling with the hills, not having to fight with traffic, and just taking in all of this amazing scenery. I'm actually thinking of making a video soon of specific hill country suburbs and where to live in the Texas Hill Country since it's such a hot destination area. What do y'all think? Would that be helpful? Let me know in the comments. So this next town that we're checking out today is Boerne, Texas. I've actually heard this called the front porch of the Texas Hill Country, and it's actually really fitting, and now it's forever stuck in my head. Some of the highlights of the Boerne area: it's north of San Antonio on 281. We just took a back road, some farm to market and country roads from New Braunfels to Boerne. You can actually access it pretty easily from 281 outside of San Antonio. It's about a 30-ish minute drive to get into San Antonio from here. You can also get to other areas in the hill country that you may want to visit, like Canyon Lake, Guadalupe State Park, and other fun places. Here it's really a mix between rural and peaceful and a developing suburban type atmosphere. It started off as just a tiny little country town, but because everyone is moving outward from the San Antonio area, which of course I've mentioned before, Boerne has seen a lot of growth over these past years, much like all of these other suburbs. The Boerne area has a mix of different types of homes that you can find, from ranch-style homes on large lots to custom estates and horse properties, and you can even find some with some really incredible views. The home prices typically start around $400,000, with the larger estates and acreage sites well over $1 million. Boerne homes often come with more spacious yards and more privacy than typical suburban type neighborhoods. You'll find homes that offer room to grow, making it perfect for families wanting space for the kids or the dogs or the chickens or the horses if you find the right areas. The pros and cons of living in Boerne: some of the pros are that it's tranquil and private. It's perfect for those that want to totally escape the stress of the city life. Of course, the proximity to nature, whether it's hiking, fishing, or just enjoying the hill country scenic views, Boerne has the full natural experience. It is, of course, family friendly with highly rated schools and a very close-knit community. A few cons to consider, although they aren't necessarily big ones: there is a trade-off for peace and quiet. You might face longer commute times into the city for work or for entertainment, and it is very rural and remote out here in some of the areas, which really tends to surprise people that aren't prepared for that. Some people that are moving to the San Antonio area see the homes and the videos thinking it's perfect, and then when they visit in person, they're surprised to see how far away from everything it can feel. But if that's actually what you want, then Boerne could be perfect for you. As for entertainment and activities, Boerne sits in the heart of the Texas Hill Country, which we already talked about. It's known for its rolling hills, greenery, and just wide open spaces. This means you'll get some of the most stunning Texas sunsets and beautiful views right from your backyard. This is where you tend to see larger home sites and more privacy than what you would find closer or inside of San Antonio. And it's not uncommon to have a whole few acres between you and your closest neighbor. My final thoughts on Boerne: it's definitely perfect for outdoor or nature enthusiasts. It's perfect for families, retirees, or anyone just looking for a slower pace with tons of access to nature. If you want space, tranquility, and a little slice of the Texas Hill Country, Bulverde could be the perfect spot for you. Since we're over here in the 281 North area, we have to talk about Stone Oak. It's actually a collection of several different neighborhoods and sub-neighborhoods combined with a massive commercial and business development area. It's very well known amongst those that are already living in San Antonio and even most who are moving to San Antonio. This area of the city is pretty much a no-brainer when it comes to options for the best areas for families in San Antonio. You've probably already heard about it if you've started researching at all, but I'm going to give you my take on it just so you have another perspective. And I also have a house to show out here that I'm going to get video of for my clients so I can show it to them virtually. So it works out perfectly for me to show you guys around at the same time. So here are a few highlights of the Stone Oak area. Stone Oak is by far one of the most popular neighborhoods in all of San Antonio if you're looking for family-friendly master plan community with all the perks of suburban life. And it's actually made up of several different sub-neighborhoods that all combined together make up Stone Oak. Stone Oak area is really well known for its master plan layout. Did I already say master planned? I think I did, but okay. The way that it was created and developed just gives it a clean, organized feel. It's beautifully landscaped, very well maintained, and you'll find tons of community amenities, activities. The location is about 20-ish minutes from downtown, depending on the time of day and the traffic conditions. So it's a good option if you're looking for suburban life and easy access to the city. Northeast ISD is the school district for this area, and it is very highly rated. It includes one of the destination high schools of San Antonio, which is Reagan High School. You can of course look up the ratings and info for that school or any other. I have several buyers that reach out to me that are looking only for homes that are zoned for Reagan. The home types in Stone Oak range from cozy and practical brick homes to huge luxury estates. And the price swing is anywhere from $300,000 for some of the more basic homes to multi-million-dollar luxury homes with all of the upgrades and luxury features you could ever dream of. The appeal for families in Stone Oak is really a combination of a few factors. Of course, people love the school ratings when they research the district and the individual schools. There's a comfortable feeling of community here. There are plenty of parks, playgrounds, green spaces, and walking trails. Plus, a majority of the communities here are gated, which really helps people feel overall more secure in this area. The HOAs are known for keeping the communities looking clean and pristine, and they also regularly organize family-friendly events. Location-wise, Stone Oak is a hub for anything that you would need, whether you're looking for high-end dining, retail therapy, or even medical needs. You'll find really beautiful parks for the kids and dogs, hiking trails, plenty of yoga studios and gyms. There's really nothing that you can't find in this area. Because Stone Oak is on slightly elevated terrain, you'll see some really gorgeous views of the rolling hills and the Texas Hill Country off to the north. Overall, the area is mature and well manicured with plenty of green spaces and a picture-perfect suburban landscape. The pros and cons of living in Stone Oak. Some of the pros are, of course, the school district. It makes it ideal whether you have school-age children or not. There's a strong sense of community, organized events, and it's overall very well maintained. There are tons of amenities like shopping, eating, and entertainment all really close by. Literally anything that you could need, from Trader Joe's to Costco to Whole Foods and H-E-B, everything is. A few of the cons of the area would be, because the area is so popular and desirable, traffic can definitely be a hassle, especially at peak times. It's even more frustrating when there's construction in high traffic areas. Even though there's a large swing in the price of homes here, they're definitely not the most affordable in San Antonio. So you don't necessarily get the most home for your money compared to other areas. The HOAs can be restrictive, especially regarding property modifications, appearance, and exterior maintenance. And most of these areas do have 2 mandatory HOAs. My final thoughts on Stone Oak: it's a perfect option for families who are looking for a family-oriented gated community with highly rated schools and tons of local amenities. It's also great for professionals who are seeking a suburban lifestyle and may need to commute to another area of the city or downtown, or even just to have easy access to the San Antonio airport. From Stone Oak, we're going to get onto Loop 1604, which is one giant loop around the outskirts of the city. This is going to get us to I-10, and this area is currently under a lot of construction. It's going to be a huge improvement once they're finally done with it, but as for now, we just have to get through it the best that we can. Let's jump on I-10 West out of San Antonio. This is another big traffic area because so many people make this daily commute and because there's so much going on in the I-10 corridor. From the bulk of San Antonio's car dealerships, shopping centers, UTSA, USAA, thousands of businesses, the entertainment options, and all of the communities and neighborhoods, it's a highly traveled area of San Antonio. But for now, we just have a bit of a slowdown and it's smooth sailing into Boerne. And we can't tour the suburbs of San Antonio without talking about Boerne, Texas, because that's definitely another fan favorite. Families absolutely love living in Boerne, and just like a few of the others, it's one of the most talked about when people are relocating to the area but don't want to live in San Antonio itself. Here's what you need to know about Boerne. It's about 30 minutes north of San Antonio on I-10. This whole corridor heading out to Boerne is loaded with development, from high-end car dealerships to multiple shopping spots and plenty of upscale dining and entertainment options. When it comes to Boerne itself, though, it's what I would consider the perfect representation of a Texas hill country town. It's loaded with scenery, history, outdoor activities, the cutest downtown area that always has something going on, very highly rated schools, and of course, those family-friendly vibes. The school district in Boerne is definitely part of what makes it so appealing to families. With lower student to teacher ratios and high rankings in academics and extracurriculars, the schools here receive lots of love and support from the community. The options for homes in Boerne have a large variation in style and price. You'll find everything from historic homes and cottages in downtown Boerne all the way up to the massive custom homes on large acreage home sites. There are plenty of new construction options in Boerne also. They're just mostly on the outskirts of town. When it comes to a unique living experience that you can't get anywhere else, Boerne has you covered. From cozy cafes, local breweries, and burger spots, Boerne's food scene does not disappoint. One of my favorite things is the amazing community support that is prioritized for these locally owned businesses. That's hard to find in most places and definitely contributes to the strong sense of community that they have here. But the main thing that people absolutely love about living in Boerne is the landscape. Being that it's part of the Texas hill country, there's plenty of scenery to enjoy with the rolling hills and trees, green spaces as far as you can see, and of course, those famous wide open Texas skies. Some pros and cons of living in Boerne: the small town charm is unbeatable. Think Main Street parades, local shops, neighbors who know your name and care about you and your family. You have the most beautiful hill country landscapes and views, quiet country living, easy access to nature and outdoor activities, all within a short commute of what you may need in San Antonio. Plus, you have a highly rated, community supported school district. So one of the cons would be that Boerne is no longer the hidden gem of the hill country. It's become a hotspot for families that are moving to the San Antonio area and even those that are just looking to get out of San Antonio. And the town is experiencing some pretty big growing pains. If you get to know your neighbors and some of the lifelong residents of Boerne, they'll tell you that the charming, quiet little town just doesn't exist anymore. The housing affordability and the higher cost of living in Boerne would be another con for you if you're searching for affordability. You can definitely get more home for your money in other suburbs of San Antonio if the Boerne lifestyle doesn't match up with your priorities or goals. My final thoughts about Boerne: if you love the idea of small town parades, lots of community events, waving to your neighbors when you see them passing on the street, enjoying nature and Texas scenery, and you don't mind being a little further away from San Antonio, you should definitely consider Boerne as an option. Now we're going to head out of the Texas Hill Country for now, but don't worry, we will be back. Let's get back on I-10, but we're going east back into San Antonio. Again, usually more traffic during peak times because a lot of people commute from Boerne to San Antonio, but it's not too bad right now in mid-afternoon. We're going back to this construction zone of I-10 and 1604. Some advice here: if you're visiting or new to San Antonio, make sure to check out traffic reports or use Waze or some kind of app like that, because TxDOT will shut down sections of highways, sometimes overnight or on weekends for construction. That way you can sometimes avoid some really big delays. Okay, I won't talk any more about traffic. So traveling on 1604 for just a bit and then onto Military Highway straight into the suburb of Shavano Park. Here's some of the highlights of Shavano Park. We are on the north side of San Antonio, about 20-ish minutes from the downtown area. Shavano Park offers a peaceful suburban type environment that feels rural, but not in the highly developed tract style home type of way. These homes have plenty of privacy and space, which is one of the biggest draws to the area. Large home sites and a heightened sense of privacy because of the enormous trees make Shavano Park highly desirable for families that are looking for a quiet and exclusive feeling area. The homes here are known for being spacious and luxurious. There's a mix of unique architectural styles, prices ranging from the $700,000 for smaller properties for well over the multi-million-dollar range for more customized, updated estates. If you're lucky enough to find anything under $700,000, it's usually going to be in need of renovations and updating. Shavano Park is a favorite for families that are looking for space, privacy, and what the residents call an overall feeling of safety within their community. It's a small and tight-knit community, and they have a strong focus on maintaining and preserving the natural beauty of the area. It's also zoned for Northside ISD schools, which is the largest district in San Antonio, and draws plenty of families for the highly rated schools, academic, and extracurricular activities. Shavano Park may be known for its upscale luxury homes, but it's also the ideal spot for nature lovers. Close to Phil Hardberger Park, which has some incredible hiking and biking trails, picnic spots, and a dog park. It's also not uncommon to spot deer wandering around here. You're a short drive from some of the best shopping in San Antonio at the shops at La Cantera and the Rim. Between these two, you'll find everything from high-end boutiques to casual restaurant options, Top Golf. Plus, you have the country clubs, golf courses, and tennis courts super close, so literally something for everyone. Much like other areas on the north and northwest side of San Antonio, you really start to see the landscape of the Texas Hill Country change. So you see the rolling hills, lots of greenscape, and just overall really gorgeous scenery and views. Let's talk about some of the pros and cons of living in the Shavano Park area. The privacy and the larger home sites for those families that want more secluded, peaceful lifestyle. Access to great schools and Northside ISD. Beautiful, unique, mostly custom homes with upscale amenities. The downside to Shavano Park is that this is expensive real estate. It's well known for its luxury homes and large, heavily treed lots, which you can't find just anywhere. Add the fact that it's the ideal, serene, and peaceful atmosphere with frequent wildlife activity and within minutes of all the biggest amenities of San Antonio. Well, let's just say the home prices match the overall desirability of the San Antonio suburb. My final thoughts on Shavano Park: much like some of the other luxury communities that we talk about, it may be a great option if you're seeking this really specific type of lifestyle, luxury living combined with privacy and a somewhat rural feel. It's also perfect if you value your space and want to live in a well-maintained, exclusive neighborhood and you don't mind paying a premium for that. Okay, we're back on Loop 1604, headed west, and I promised y'all we would get back to the Texas Hill Country. Well, kind of. It's not as far away from San Antonio as some of the others. Here's what I mean when I say that it's super close but feels so far away. Where we're driving right now is on Bandera Road, technically still part of San Antonio. It's a highly developed and established part of San Antonio with retail centers, a massive HEB, Walmart, Target, restaurants, and movies. But then all of a sudden, you're in Helotes city limits with just a few turns. And once you're inside of Helotes, it doesn't at all feel like all of that is less than 5 minutes away. And out of all of the areas that I'm showing you, this is another one that lots of people request and have already done some research on. And here's the crazy thing and a quick lesson for you guys that are searching where to live when moving to San Antonio. A large percentage of families that contact me about their relocation call out the Helotes area as their top option. There are tons of videos about this area, so people watch and think that it's the perfect option for them. But then when we have a quick phone call, talk about their needs, wants, and expectations, it turns out there are other San Antonio suburbs or areas that just work out better for them. And this is where I tell you that number one thing that you need to know when searching where to live in San Antonio. You can research and watch thousands of videos and really feel like you know where you're going to want to find your home here. But the best way to find an area that is truly the right fit for you is to reach out to me so that we can talk about your family, your needs and wants in a home and neighborhood, and your expectations so that we can really find the best options for you together. From a San Antonio relocation specialist who knows all of these areas and the market conditions, you want to make sure that calling or texting or even emailing me is your next step, because videos are great and Helotes is amazing, but you'll definitely want a personalized experience when officially deciding on your spot. Now, here are a few things about Helotes that make it special because maybe it is the perfect place for you. Helotes is super unique in the way that it is a family-friendly community that's right at the start of the Texas Hill Country, but also right at the end of San Antonio. So it truly offers the best of both worlds with tranquil rural living, but also super close to all the big city amenities that you could need. It's known for its small town vibes and close-knit community with a bit of a slower pace that makes you feel like you're miles away from the city. Families love the family-friendly vibe and activities, the rolling hills, and the natural landscape with the hill country views that can be seen from all over. The home types in Helotes are pretty diverse. You'll find some smaller square footage, tract style homes in newly developed neighborhoods in the $300,000 to $400,000 range, and also custom homes on large home sites with privacy and the most incredible views of the hill country in the multi-million-dollar ranges. There are plenty of family-oriented community events to have fun throughout the year, quick access to parks, hiking and biking nearby, plus you're a quick drive to San Antonio, shopping, hotspots, and entertainment. People come from all over the area for the festivals, Helotes market days, and even just to explore around Old Town Helotes. You'll find live music venues, unique shops and restaurants, of course, plenty of Texas barbecue and local farmers markets. It's a lot of fun to walk around and sightsee, especially on the weekends. There's not much negative to say about Helotes, but I think the one thing that you should know is that there's not a lot of inventory available, specifically affordable inventory. I was checking on inventory for someone yesterday in this area, and there were less than 100 homes that were active in MLS. And of those, most of them were over 500,000. So that's the bad news. But the good news is that the next area that we're going to look at, which neighbors Helotes, will have you covered with more options to get you more home for your money. My final thoughts on living in Helotes: it's a great option for families, retirees, or really just anyone that's looking for a peaceful small town lifestyle with the perks of being super close to San Antonio. It's especially perfect if you're an outdoor enthusiast who wants quick access to hiking, parks, and hill country lifestyle. So if Helotes sounds like a great fit for you, let's talk about it and see if it's a match. This next area that we're going to talk about will have some perfect options for you if you're looking for more home for your money. It only makes sense to follow Helotes in the order that we're going because this next one is a great area for those families that love the idea of living near Helotes, which I mentioned is really popular, but are maybe working with a different budget than what Helotes has to offer. And from the Helotes area, there are back roads that you can take to get to Alamo Ranch easier and quicker. But I wanted to show you all the way from 1604 so that you can see all of the development of this area here on 1604, as well as the development that's still going on throughout this entire area. So forget about luxury, exclusive, and expensive, and everything that seemed to go along with most of the other suburbs of San Antonio that we just talked about, although there are some spots that are on the higher end here too. What I'm going to show you is the newly developed, much more affordable, and super popular area for families called Alamo Ranch. A few highlights of Alamo Ranch: it's the largest master plan community on the far west side of San Antonio. So you have that suburban feel, but you also have easy access to major highways like Loop 1604, Highway 151, which makes it a bit easier of a commute. Alamo Ranch is packed with its very own shopping centers, tons of restaurants, bakeries, coffee shops, and lots more developing all the time. The schools are part of the popular Northside ISD, including 2 brand new high schools that service this part of the area. The types of homes that you can expect to find in Alamo Ranch are much more budget friendly and practical compared to other areas that we've covered, which is perfect if you're looking for tons of options under $500,000. Many of the homes are newer construction, meaning modern floor plans, better energy efficiency, and more recent major systems like HVAC, roof, water, plumbing, electrical, all of those things. Alamo Ranch is a huge destination for families because it's all about flexibility. Looking for an affordable starter home, a move-up home with more space for your growing family, an amazing amenity center. Maybe you're downsizing and looking for a 55 plus community. Alamo Ranch probably has plenty of options for you. Let's hit some pros and cons for the Alamo Ranch area. There are tons of amenities at your doorstep. Shopping, dining, parks and recreation, and schools are all close by. Most of the elementary and middle schools are actually within your specific subdivision. Family-friendly neighborhoods with well-maintained streets and community events. It's a great mix of developed suburban living with city convenience, and you're super close to SeaWorld and several major employers, but you still also get that peaceful neighborhood vibe. Some of the cons of living in Alamo Ranch. Whenever I recommend the Alamo Ranch area to someone that is considering where to live in San Antonio, the one thing that I warn them about is the traffic and congestion in this area. It's definitely not for everyone. Although there are a few different ways to get in and out of all the communities that are in this area, the main road, which is Culebra Road, can be jam-packed not only during peak traffic, but at any time throughout the day, especially with all of the construction that's going on in some parts. What I can say here is that while some people find it frustrating and would never consider it as an option, there are thousands of other families that live in the Alamo Ranch area that absolutely love the area and are willing to get past the traffic just to live here. Since it's a newer built area, you won't get the mature trees and established charm that some of the older neighborhoods have. Another thing to consider here is that there is still plenty of new construction going on. Lots of builders, lots of inventory. But even though this area is more budget friendly than some of these other suburbs of San Antonio, you can still expect to pay anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000 more on the same home with the same floor plan and same options on homes here in this area than in different neighborhoods that are located just a few miles south or southwest from here. A lot has to do with the popularity of this area and the demand for homes here. Alamo Ranch has several parks and playgrounds nearby, plus you're just minutes from Government Canyon, which is a massive, beautiful green space and a super popular spot for hiking and nature lovers. The Alamo Ranch area itself is somewhat flat and open, but the further you get outside of San Antonio and closer to Helotes and Medina Lake, you still get to admire the way the landscape starts to change and see the start of the hill country. Here are some final thoughts on the Alamo Ranch area. It's a perfect option for those families that are looking for the most home options at a lower price, looking for newer and more modern homes and amenities, and still want to be super close to shopping and entertainment. It's overall a great balance balance of homes, schools, and amenities. At this point, it probably sounds like I'm being a little repetitive. I don't know how many times in this video I've said family friendly, tons of home options, scenic views, small town vibes, but that's really the common theme between all of these areas and what really makes them some of the best and most popular San Antonio suburbs for families. While they all have similar advantages and even disadvantages, they each have their own vibe and their own way of life. So even though you really can't go wrong with any of them, it's going to take a really good, detailed conversation to find out which options are better for you and your family. Also keep in mind that these are only some options. There are tons more that might be an even better match for what you're looking for, especially if small town living is not for you. But of course, that's where I come in. I can't emphasize enough that I'm here to help you narrow down your options and find the best places for you and your family and avoid those places that are just not a good fit for you. So check out all of my contact info in the description and also my website that I designed just for you guys to help you in moving to San Antonio, Texas. Now check out this video next, which gives you even more information about moving to and living in San Antonio, Texas. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video.